Good morning. Welcome to the Namaste experience. Some days we call it the Namaste adventure. I warned everybody earlier that today I'm flying solo. Gosh, does that show how brave Juniper Joseph is? We should commend him on his courage. Am I muted? Is that what we're asking me? No? Okay. All right. How we doing? Yeah, how we doing? There we go. Yeah. Awake and ready. There it is. I'm always waiting. I'm always holding out for that one, right? Awake and ready. There is so much permission in this room that I probably could spend 25 hours working on a morning session, and I would step up here and say, nope, not that one. Do you realize the power in that? I want to invite you into that for a moment. Anything that you hear today is a voice from within. So I sure hope you like all of it. Anything that you see as wisdom is your own reflecting back to you. Anything. I hope you like what you hear. So a rabbi, a monk, and a metaphysical minister walk into a bakery. And the baker says, what'll it be? And the rabbi says, I'll have a round challah to remind me the year is a circle. The monk says, just tea. Attachment to pastries leads to suffering. And that minister says, honey cake, please, double espresso. I affirm sweetness, abundance, and 0 calories. Do you know why I fell into New Thought? And the baker says, you know, you're all nutty. And they all reply in unison, exactly. We are cracked so the light can get in. Fun, huh? Sometimes the cracks that we see as flaws, and we do, come on. You don't have to say it out loud, but I know that happens. Sometimes they're really just invitations to our own illumination. Anybody got any imperfections in your life? Anybody struggle with the imperfections in my life? Or their life, or her life, or yeah. I think it'd be a good start to see those as invitations to our illumination. And boy, will the universe ever give you the opportunity to do that. I want to acknowledge that yesterday was the beginning of Rosh Hashanah. It is the birthday of the world in the practice of Judaism. Not just the physical world, but the world of consciousness. It is the world of remembering. We remember the light. I want to thank Rabbi Larry here in our community for inviting us into Lake Chapala, at the front of Lake Chapala yesterday evening, the sounding of the shofar, the calling in to start the new year. That'll actually be happening again today at the front of Lake Chapala. So if you're anywhere but Ahihi, get on a plane now. We thank you for that reminder, the start of the new year. And you may hear me try to stumble through some words that I can't pronounce. So I now have a resident rabbi that I will reference and say, Larry, did I get that right? And he will be my guide in that. Anywhere in your life, you might want to invite a guide in when you just can't quite get the words right. You're pretty clear on what you mean, or so you think, but calling a guide in to remind you. I used to tell my kids, those teachers, they're not really just teaching you reading, writing, and arithmetic. What they are doing is they are teaching you that you know how to learn. You have the capacity to learn. So when you bump into something in your life that feels insurmountable, something that you think, I don't know how to do this. Anybody ever say that? Don't raise your hands. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do this as something presents. You can remember that at some point you learned to read. You can remember at some point you learned to do math. Well, and some people were much better than some of us at that. But I was taught to learn. That's why we invite guides in. That's why we keep seeking for that information and that wisdom that reminds us, the remembering. And in this new year, in the Jewish practice, we celebrate remembering that. And just for this moment, can you bring in to the forefront of your consciousness? And I always do that. I don't know. Is that where my consciousness is held? Apparently it is right now. But wherever you hold yours, bring it to the center and see, remember, a guide in your life. See them. Hold them in this moment of consciousness. I know it feels pretty good, doesn't it? So now come on back. Lurianic, am I saying that correct? Thank you. In Lurianic Kabbalah, creation began with divine light. And it was poured into vessels. What would those vessels look like for you? What is the vessel that you allow the light to be poured into? What does it look like? Got it? So creation began with divine light poured into vessels. Mine's about 5'2". But the light was too vast. The vessels shattered, and the shards became the material world. And the sparks of divine light, well, they are in every shard. Every sharp piece, every appearance of brokenness, that is where the light resides. This is the story of Shevarat Hak. No, I'm not getting that one. Shevarat Hakmim. Yeah, no? Well, we'll go past that. Shevarat Hekalim. Oh, so much better. Thank you. And I'm not poking fun. I want to be honoring. But this little Midwestern farm girl didn't get that any day on Sunday or Saturday or whatever day. This is the story of the shattering of the vessels. And our sacred task is this: Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam. It is the mending of the world. Wow. The thought of that is amazing, and the thought of that can be a little heavy. The mending of the world. But see, we don't mend the world by fixing it. We mend it by lifting those shards, those sparks. This is how we mend the world. By seeing the divine in the ordinary, like we talk about every day. I really encourage that as the person who teaches here. Please see the divine in the ordinary. Please. By seeing the divine in the ordinary and by choosing compassion over certainty, by remembering that every act of love is a cosmic repair, we're mending the world. And we do it by lifting the shards of light. Like those geese, lifting each other by our very momentum and presence. This is not a small task, my friends. This is not a small task. Some days, just finding my own shard, my own divine light, seems like a big job. Isaac Lurie said this: each soul is born with a unique portion of the light to restore. Each soul is born with a unique portion of the light to restore. My codependent self jumped right up and said, "Here, honey, I'll show you what yours is. Here, let me help you with that." I know, I'm the only one. But that unique portion of light that is mine to restore became easier to wrap my arms and my heart around when I realized it's not all mine to do. And in the realizing of it not being all mine to do, I'm reminded of the oneness. See? Because we're all in this together. It's not mine to pick up every broken shard. Oh, and I will give it a good go, let me tell you. But it's not mine. It's a unique portion of the light that is mine to restore. So when I come back to that center of knowing that that light resides within me and that that shard is mine to see in this moment, to lift into its expression, I get to stay over here in my business and stay out of yours. I don't have to take it all on. We are infinite in expression, and we are one, and we are all. And it's so confusing sometimes how that can happen all at the same time. Eric Butterworth said, "God substance, everywhere, all the time, at the same time." I said, well, that cleared it up. Seems like a lot. Rosh Hashanah is the moment we say, I am ready to begin again. How many times a day could I use that? How many times a day could you use that? I am ready to begin again. Yeah, this is when we start picking up that momentum. This is when we start moving back toward that divine nature of who we are. Right in the middle of it, whatever it is, I am ready to begin again. Not because I'm broken, not because I'm not enough, not because something needs to be fixed, but because, oh, that's right, I'm remembering. Oh, that's right, I'm remembering. The beginning again does not start because something is not correct. The change or the shift doesn't happen because it was wrong previously to that moment. It's the remembering. It's the sound of the shofar that says, remember, begin again and again and again, and sometimes again, sometimes again, sometimes again. Not because the world is flawed. It's not that, but because it's unfinished. It hasn't completely returned to its knowing of its divine expression. And I'm part of that. My little shard of light is part of that. And big news, so is yours. You know, other traditions echo this truth. In Sufism, the ego is refined to reveal the divine spark. Mm. In Hinduism, the Atman is never separate from the Brahman. See, in Buddhism, the beginner's mind dissolves the illusion. I'm sorry, does the Course in Miracle talk about that ever? And how about traditional Christianity? This is where the resurrection is the light returning. This is a common theme through all the teachings that I could find. And I looked. Kind of like as common as every one of them have a golden rule. Your shard is required for the completion of the mending of the world. Our work is to lift those shards of light. In the Course in Miracles, it says, you are the light of the world. That is your only function. That is why you are here. Any questions? Wait, that was so complex. Let me share it again. You are the light of the world. That is your only function. That is why you are here. Let's move on to the next adventure in our life by remembering why we are here, who we are, what our function is. Do you know what will mend the world just like that? Can't you just see those shards flying into place, forming this amazing, beautiful picture of total love? And all the cracks of the shards coming together are not mended. They amplify the light that is moving through. They are prisms for what we came here to be, greater than anything we think that we are. Man, it's hard to stay in a chair for me. I just gotta tell you, when you stand here and you see the shards, I sit here and we don't have assigned seating, but we do. Right? Don't we? Don't we? Here in Namaste, we do. Do you guys have an assigned parking spot at the grocery store? Those of you that are out there running around in your cars? Yeah, we do. Because we like familiarity. We like knowing what to expect. And we like being able to find our car. So we don't have assigned seating here, but we do. And I see folks come in just about every day. They come in about the same time, and the energy starts to build. Just a minute. Sorry. No, I'm not. So this morning I'm sitting here because I knew what I was supposed to be talking about, or I thought what I saw were the shards coming together into our session area. It was the coolest thing ever. You guys really ought to get to have this chair once in a while. And I watched it happen. I watched the shards come together. And the light. In construction, man, I swing from the light to construction, but that's all right because I'll get you there. Hang on. So in construction, there's a term. It's called the LRV. It's the light reflectivity value. That's how we choose paints. That's how we choose tinting on window, blah, blah, blah. The point is this. You can measure it. You can measure how much light comes off of an object, glass, a color, LRV, light reflectivity value. What's yours? 100%. I like that answer. Some days I run about 50. Yeah, I do. And you know what still happens? The light still comes in. See, I'm reflecting back the light. So the surface that the light that comes into me and expresses through me is given the opportunity to be 100%, or maybe it's partly cloudy. Maybe it's 50%. But the light is still there. What is your light reflectivity value? Now, if you knew the scale, it'd be easier, wouldn't it? So let's go 1 to 10. 1 being a little and 10 being a lot, right? So now I'm going to ask the question again. What is your light reflectivity value?
7.
I like a 7. I'll take a 7. I hear a 10. Give me a 2. How about a 5? I'll take a 3. Here we go. That's right. But I will tell you, when the shards start moving into this area, it's 100% all the way around, baby, because it is amplified through the cracks that we have lived through. It is amplified through the experiences that we have had. It is, in fact, the light of our divine nature. Is that not the coolest thing ever? It really is the coolest thing ever. And you are not broken. You are breaking open. You are not broken. You are breaking open. You know, sometimes I think I can't say these things in the room at Namaste because these people are all so incredibly spiritually elevated. They don't have any problems in their lives. Mhm. I didn't say it was true, but it is something I think. It is. And I think, oh, that's going to be too preachy. That's going to be, we don't have those problems. We don't get into that kind of thinking. I'm the only one that does. I love that. I love that we can laugh at that. You are the light of the world, we are told in the textbook, the Holy Bible. You are the light of the world. I used to sign my emails. You are the light. Soul shall shine. You are the light. Soul shall shine. The divine didn't make a mistake. It made a mosaic. Those vessels were never intended to be finite. Thus, they burst into shards so that they could come back together with all the cracks, with all the amplification, because it is infinite in nature. Rosh Hashanah isn't about resolutions. It's about revelations. It's about seeing forward, seeing through, allowing the light to direct your vision with real eyes, like we talk about. Allow the light. And the shofar, it's not a warning. I was thinking last night, you know what it is? It's a cosmic flashlight. Larry, take that to the rabbi. It's a cosmic flashlight. It says, wake up, sweet soul. It says, you're still made of light. Wake up. That's the call. Even your shadow is just playing hide and seek. The things that you think should be hidden away, the things that you think you shouldn't show or be. There's only love. There's just only love. Tikkun olam. It's not a chore. It's a celebration. It's a mending of the world by lifting our light. We have a bumper sticker here in Ahihi. Keep Ahihi weird. Nutty? Okay. I'm with those 3 guys that walked into the bakery. I say, let's be a little nutty. I say, let's be so cracked open that the light can do nothing but express. I say, and I quote one of my favorite, Jimmy Buffett, more fruitcakes, more fruitcakes, more being allowed to be that crazy light that shoots across the room, more that little girl that danced the polka by herself around the outside of the floor because she didn't have a partner and enjoyed every moment of it. More of that. Let's mend the world by lifting our light. I had all kinds of examples of kind of weird people. And I decided that Fred Rogers was kind of a unique guy in a way of his teaching. And this is what dropped in for me. You know how Juniper Joseph talked about the Franciscan monk Juniper, right? And he was just kind of all over the place and he was just really out there. Well, I think Fred Rogers was Juniper in a cardigan. That's what I think it was. What is your light reflectivity value? And what would you ever allow to minimize that? Put on your cosmic cardigan. Be Juniper. Be the light you're called into because you are. You should sit here and watch it come in. You should see yourself the way the world sees you. If you get a chance, do more of that. That's what I say. There are lots of examples of pretty crazy people, but I'm going to leave you with this parable. And then Mr. Chris has some stuff he wants to share for you, and then we're happy to have you up. Thank you, Scott. Once in a village nestled between two mountains called Mystery and Memory, a child found a jar buried beneath a fig tree. Inside were shards of colored glass, and there was a note. These are pieces of the world's first light. Your task is not to fix them, but to find where they belong. So the child began placing shards in windows, and mosaics, and mirrors. Some fit perfectly, some not so much. But each time a shard caught the sun, somebody nearby remembered something sacred, like a song or a kindness or a forgotten dream. And the years passed and the child grew. And one day, they placed the final shard. That child placed the final shard in their own heart and whispered, "Let there be light." Namaste.
And with that, we say, I am the light of the world. Together, I am the light of the world. Thank you so much. And tonight, we are gathering our shards together for dancing in your Zoom room, the same room that you're in right now on YouTube or watching later. You can come to this, and it'll be 7 p.m. Mexico time or 9 p.m. East Coast time. And we'll be dancing together in your chair if you like. And you can just join us. I'm so moved by today's message. Thank you so much. It reminds me of yesterday's lesson as well, God's eye view, and how, well, I got a song. Let me
Could be lost, a fragile house of cards that time could turn to dust. But loss is just a shadow, a trick upon the stage. Love remains unbroken, untouched by fear or age. I put on holy glasses and clarity appeared. The blur I thought was vision dissolved when truth was near. No gain to chase, no loss to guard, no sacrifice to prove. Only love is real, and that's the lens I choose.
So there you go, nice sample. So come join us tonight. We have 15 songs that we'll be listening to for the 1 hour. And I'm just so grateful. So let's see. Okay, Scott has something. I just want to say only love, only God, only now. Namaste. Yay!
Yay! All right. I am. So Reverend Cherie hinted at neighbors this Sunday, and this is a song I wrote a long time ago. It fits in with both today and Sunday. So it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. What's that? Hold the guitar up. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. My spirit is soaring free. I've taken the weight of the world off my shoulders and found a lighter me. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. There are no locks on the doors. People come out to play every day, and we know what life is for. We laugh at the notion that love is. We laugh at the notion that love is rare. We laugh at the notion of fear. We come to each moment with cupboards bare and open our hearts to the heaven that's here. We open our hearts to the heaven that's here. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood, in my body's community. My organs and cells get along with each other, a happy biology. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, so we're having a block party. God has decreed there'll be joy in the streets, so we sacrifice self-misery. We laugh at the notion that love is rare. We laugh at the notion of fear. We come to each moment with cupboards bare and open our hearts to the heaven that's here. We open our hearts to the heaven that's here. So it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Our spirits are soaring free. We've taken the weight of the world off our shoulders, found our harmony. It's such a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Mr. Rogers is singing along. Who would have known that the journey home would lead my heart back to his song? Who would have known that our journey home would lead us all back to this song? Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Thank you. And together we say, Amen.